Hey guys, it's time for season 2 of Daphne Designs. If you remember the house that we decorated in season 1, here it is. I think I said that I have a really hard time not decorating with pink, so for season 2, I decided to try not to decorate with the color pink. I absolutely love how this house turned out, but I decided not to make it quite so bright for season 2. I mean, I find myself really liking all the bright colors because it just makes me happy when I'm playing, but the season 2 house did not disappoint. I absolutely love it too. So I just wanted to show you a couple of the awesome trades that we got for season 1. We didn't do a lot of trading, but we were working on pets, trying to make them neon at the same time. And mostly that was just because we needed bucks to decorate our house. I ended up getting this amazing trade. I got an alpaca for this neon ride cat, and I was able to trade some of my neon cat for a bunch of cats, so I was able to make more than one neon, and then I traded that neon cat for that neon brachiosaurus. And then I was able to trade another one of those neon cats for a legendary pet. And guys, this was the very first trade that we actually got for our house, once we got it finished. And this is what we got for our first house. We got a mega ermine plus these 4 ice cubes. And I think that that was a really good deal. That was the best that I've ever gotten offered for one of my houses before. Well, almost. If you actually remember from one of my Brie challenges, I traded one of those ice cream houses for a candy floss chick. I don't think it could get much better than that. But I really felt like this was an awesome offer. I was so happy to get that mega ermine because guys, if you remember, it only took us 6 days to decorate that house. So to then get this mega ermine, I was just so happy. I put on my super happy face. So this was my actual inventory at the end of season 1. And if you see, I actually had still quite a few of those cats to make neons. And then I also had those ice cubes that I needed to make neon. So if you're wanting to know what I did with this account, while I was waiting to make season 2, guys, all I did was log into it once or twice a day and do 1 or 2 tasks on those pets and just be collecting the login rewards and then any bucks out of my lure and stuff. And with just doing that, I was able to age up this last cat, or this cat that I was actually working on, to a neon. And then I started working on those ice cubes so I can make those a neon and be able to trade those. So now I have another neon cat to be able to trade and so many more pets. And I made so many bucks just from logging in, guys. I know I made a video on why you need alt accounts, but this is why, guys. This account actually has 16,000 bucks on it, over 16,000. So I got a little bit bored while I was logging in, and so I did add these kitchen cabinets, or I went ahead and added those to the house. And then at first I thought I was gonna do a blue theme, but I decided to go with this purple. And then I also added this rug to the floor, and so that's just what I'm gonna cover the floors with. I was kind of testing things out since there's a new way to decorate now, with the tabs on the right side, and I think it's so much easier now to decorate a house and to find stuff. So these kitchen cabinets will be really easy to find over on the side, and I'm just changing them to this purple color so they all match. And then I kind of just made this little grinding area over on the side so I could actually age up the pets when I would log in and stuff. So here's the actual color that I used for the kitchen cabinets. And then after I changed all of them to match, I just went ahead and took that rug that was on the floor and just moved it across all the floors in the downstairs. I really had no idea what I was going to do with this house, but guys, it turned out amazing. I love it so much. I wasn't really sure what to do, but I just I don't know, I just kept going and it turned out so cute. I just cannot wait for you guys to see the end result. So somebody made a comment and they asked me how this design challenge was different than the other challenge that I'm doing. And with the Daphne Designs, I just really try to design one house every season, and then I try to trade it. And really, I'm just growing this inventory that way. And the only reason that I'm really aging up pets is I told you, I'm just trying to get bucks to be able to decorate my house. And really, when I started season 2, I had a bunch of bucks and I thought I'm not gonna need any more bucks, but guys, I actually did. So I do have to continue to age up the pets, and then of course I put out my trading stand just so I can see if I can get any good offers. That's what I do on all of my accounts. I always have my profile set up, and I always try to set out trading stands when I'm playing, just so I can see if I can get any good offers. It's the best way to grow your inventory. But doing this design challenge where I design a house every season is just another way that you could like grow your inventory in adoptme, and I just wanted to show you guys like how. So if you see this cabinet along the back, I actually had added that, and I think it's like a craft table or something like that. I think if you like search like craft, like you'll be able to find it. And really, I knew I wanted to try to put like a loft in this house, and so I just needed something like for the base back there. And I apologize because I feel like I changed the colors a lot. Like after I go back in, like I'll be like, oh, that just doesn't look right, and so then I'll change the color of things again. But you guys can choose like any colors you want to decorate your house. So we added this, it looks like pagoda. I'm not exactly sure like how you say it, but I added this, and this is what I'm going to use for the base of my loft for upstairs. I really didn't know that I was going to do that loft at the beginning, but I really knew that I wanted these lights like hanging down because I think it just looks like so cool. I love this piece. And I had a really tough time like sizing this piece because I knew I wanted it to be tall enough that I could put like a floor on top of it. But also I didn't really want it in front of the front door or in front of that like bathroom door or whatever that other door is over there. So I was really trying to place it to where the legs would like not end up in the doorways. So when I start decorating a house, I always think about like grinding house because I am always grinding, guys. So I knew I wanted to make this like a very cute like grinding house, and I decided to go with this like flower theme. And that makes it so much easier to like hide things like pet beds or the showers or whatever we need to use like for grinding. So we actually used this flower. I think it's so cute, and it's like a little pet bed. And I just changed a bunch of them to like purple, and then some of the other ones were like white or like a cream color. And then I decided I was going to decorate like the whole wall with them. Although in just a little bit, I'm actually going to add like this like archway there. And so I'm actually going to move them all to the center of it. And so it's just going to be like a little art piece like on the wall inside the arch. And I think I only had like 2 different colors of flowers, but then I would just like clone them and then like move them like around. And some of them I would leave like bigger, and then some of them I made like a little bit smaller. And then I just added this like creeping ivy like in between the flowers just so that the wall wasn't like completely purple. And then I just cloned and moved like everything around just until I filled up the whole wall. But again, I added like this arch, and so you don't want it to fill up like the whole wall because then you're just going to waste your money because the arch is actually going to cover it up. So I just placed them like all in the center area of the wall. I also really like to use this advanced move so I can get it just perfect, like just right, exactly where I want it. And of course, so this video isn't like too long, I'm going to speed things up, but you can always change like the playback speed so that you can watch it slower if you need to. Then I found these cute little botanical showers that I decided I wanted to place like on top of that craft table. And again, I didn't really pick like purple colors. I mean, I did pick purple colors, but I just kind of like messed with it, and it wasn't like an exact color. I'm just trying to get it to a color that is like similar to the purples that I'm using. I mean, sometimes when you're doing like the kitchen cabinets, you want every single one to be exactly the same color so it looks right. But when you're using things like these little showers and like the flowers and stuff like that, they don't have to be exactly right. Or they shouldn't be like all exactly the same color, I guess. And again, once I got the color like about like right, like what I wanted it to be, I would just like clone it and then move another one in another spot. And I also did the same thing with this ivy. Like some of them I made like a little bit smaller because I actually liked the smaller better, and I didn't want to fill up the whole wall with it, or I didn't want it to be like mostly ivy. I wanted it to be like mostly flowers. And then once I felt like I got the flowers like about where I wanted them and to the right color, then I started working on these showers and changing the colors. And really filling in with the ivy is like the easiest part, like once the flowers are all like where they're supposed to be. Not really like where they're supposed to be, but like what you want, or like where you want them to be, like where they look the best. I probably definitely didn't need like that many pet beds, but they're just so cute. And for the showers, I think I picked about like 5, and I just like changed the sizes of them and everything and moved them around. And I think I just picked 5 because I just think that it like looked right. Again, it wasn't because I needed like 5 showers, but I definitely wanted to have like a whole grinding area. So like if my friends are playing with me and they come over and they want to like grind, they can, and we're not in each other's way. And also, I always love it when the grinding area is like right inside the door. So as soon as you teleport like back to your house or reset back to your house, you can go and you can grind like right away and you don't have to go anywhere. And here's when I added that archway. It's actually called like the ice archway or something like that. And one of the things I found out from it was like once I put it up, I couldn't actually like move the other stuff because like when I would try to click on it, like it wouldn't allow me to. So once I got it sized, I actually moved it out of the way so I could go back and work on that wall before I put it back in place. And then I actually ended up like changing the color of this to kind of like a cream color or like an off-white. And then I changed like that craft table and even that pagoda or whatever it's called. And I actually was decorating for a really long time with like a cream or an off-white. And if you like it, I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, I do like it, but I just didn't love that color. And I end up changing it like in a different episode to like a very, very light purple. So it almost looks like it's white, but it's not. It's like a very light purple. So again, if you're decorating your house, you can use like whatever color you like. And if you like the cream, then go ahead and use it. But if you would like it to be like just like my house, then I'm going to change it like eventually to a light purple. And I'm just telling you so you don't have to go back and change anything. So I know earlier you were probably thinking like, I thought you said that you put 5 showers in, and I did. I just didn't do it until this point. So once I got everything like lined up and like I knew that that arch was actually gonna like cover it up, I just kind of moved the showers around so that they evenly like moved around or like took up the space right there. And then I moved back my archway just to check and make sure that I actually liked it and that it covered everything so it looked like the whole wall was covered. Then I just stepped back and made sure that I liked that so I didn't have to change it again. And next I went to work on like these little doorways. I used this ice pillar that looks a lot like that ice archway, and then I just moved it to either side of the doorway, and it also like covers up our pagoda like legs so it doesn't even look like there are legs to this thing anymore. And then eventually I actually took off the door to that doorway because I really didn't like it, and then I wanted to cover up this front door. I just never like how the like front doors look on any of the houses, and I probably would like it a lot better if they let you like change the color. Then I used the fancy door to cover up the front door. And again, I did change it to this cream color, but honestly, I'm going to use a very light purple on all of this and the doorway, all the stuff that I'm putting in the doorway right now later on. So I used this pointed like doorway or archway or whatever it's called. I think it's a doorway. And then I used it on the other side too. And then I actually cloned it and like pushed it over into the other room because it wasn't covering everything. And then I just wanted to make sure that it was like lined up like correctly. And I feel like I kept moving like a little bit more over to the other side and a little bit more because it just didn't seem like the front door was like taking up enough space. Then I added the square doorway because I felt like it just like kind of like finished it off or made it look like more finished. And then once I got that all lined up, I still felt like there was something missing from the doorway. And I don't remember this piece from earlier, like before they changed this, but I actually used that LED light. I don't know if it's new or not, but with this like new way of decorating, it's actually easier to see all the items that you have to choose from. And I just love that you don't have to pick like the right section or call it like the exactly the right thing to actually be able to find things that you want. So once I got the LED light, like, I don't know, I wanted to make it look like it was also like built in so there wasn't any space like on either side. So then I went over to this doorway and I did it, but I also had to go inside that other room, and I almost feel like I had to clone like everything on the other side except maybe those ice pillars just to make the doorway look right like on the other side. And eventually I'm actually going to go throughout the house, like at least on this first like main floor, and make sure like all the doorways look exactly like these ones do. I feel like a lot of times like with these challenges, I'm not necessarily like checking to see like how many bucks we have or how much stuff costs. I'm just using like really what I want to. And we're already down to 11,000 bucks, guys, and we started out with like 16,000. So I think especially like all this like ice stuff actually was like really expensive. It definitely didn't keep me from using it like for this season, like for this house, but I could see myself like not necessarily using it like in the future just because it's so expensive unless I have like a bunch of bucks saved up. If you notice, I actually have my pet out, and sometimes I will stop and I will actually do task on it, and I will like pause the video or pause the recording, but sometimes I just get like really into it and I forget about my pet, and sometimes I just put my pet away because it's kind of annoying that I have to do task. But at the same time, I know I'm gonna need those bucks. So then I had this little litter box that I was using like in my little grinding area when I wasn't decorating, and so I decided just to move it behind that wall or behind the craft table. That way we don't have to look at it, but we can still use it. And then I actually cloned it a couple of times and just moved them over just a little bit and then a little bit more, so there's a couple of them there. Then I bought this, and it's like wardrobe slim shelf, and then I just changed the colors, and I'm going to make it look like it's a built-in. It's gonna be a perfect spot to put like a lure so that we always have our lure like right inside the door, but it's on like the bookshelf so you don't really notice it as much. And again, I really wanted to make this look like it was built into the wall, like it was just built in right there. And so I actually went out and got this trim, and I used the bull wall top trim. And I needed to use about 4 pieces of that, and I just actually like rotated it over to move it onto the right side of it so it all looked like it fit together perfect. And this was also one of those pieces that I changed the color like later on to that very, very pale purple. This is usually like the part of the house that I feel like is the hardest because it's kind of like coming up with a theme and like a color like scheme, and then doing like a lot of that base stuff that isn't always like the most fun to do when you're decorating. But I actually felt like I finished like a lot in the first day, and that it was like really looking like it was coming together, and it just was so much easier to decorate after this first day. And once I finished that trim, I just kind of looked around to see like how I liked everything and how it was coming together. And guys, that's the end of day 1, and I hope you'll join me for day 2 of season 2 of Daphne Designs. Bye guys, until next time.